launch your coaching business fast. Welcome to Season 7 of the Coach Pony podcast, and we are here to help you get paid to coach. In this season, we are going to cut through the noise and show you how to launch your coaching business fast. So strap in and get ready to step on the gas.
It's lights out and away we go! Hello, I'm on the track watching the coaches line up before the start, and I want to check in and see if they're ready. Let's go to Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff for his take on the action.
Choosing a business model is hard, so I suggest we take a closer look at the action and see what all the options are.
Let's go to the track.
Does any of this sound familiar? I had gotten my first few paying clients and was starting to feel like supporting myself as a coach was in fact possible. Now, not being very savvy at business in the beginning, my whole plan was to find more clients and make more money. That was it. Not an awesome plan. But fortunately, I was curious. And being curious about coaching as an industry, I thought it would be super smart of me to follow some successful coaches and observe how they structured their businesses, take a look at their offers and their websites, and sort of learn by what I was seeing. And my thinking on this was that if they were doing well and doing certain things, especially if they were all doing the same types of things, then probably I should do those things too, right? And I had a lot of FOMO about not trying something. Being a new coach was really energizing, and I kind of wanted to do all of the things. So I booted up my computer and took a deep dive into some super successful coaches' businesses. And as I dug into their websites and their offers and looked at all of the money that they were clearly making, these were coaches making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars, I found some commonalities. So they all had multiple product offerings. Most of them had several group programs, or at least one really big group program. They'd also often had a big conference or retreat. Many of them had a book. These are just to name a few of the commonalities. They also were a lot of places. I found them on different places, but they are often on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And so, they were doing a lot of things. So I paused and thought about it and said to myself, okay, so to be like them, I should do what they're doing. I need to do a lot of things. And it also played into my enthusiasm and excitement. I mean, why shouldn't I write a book? I would love to write a book. Or why shouldn't I launch a group program and then a do-it-yourself program? Why couldn't I host a really cool retreat? I love the idea of traveling with my business and working with people one-on-one for a short period of time. And so I said to myself, I could do it all, right? Wrong. I kept trying to do different things, and from my very first retreat with 0 paying clients to some program launches that didn't do very well, I struggled. I was tired and I was stressed, and it felt like I was pushing a boulder up a hill, and this boulder was just going to run me over. So I kept asking myself, what was I doing wrong that these other coaches seemed to be doing so well and so right? I never thought to look deeper, and I never thought to ask myself, what kind of business do I really want? As new coaches, we often forget that we are business owners as well, and that running a business is a crucial part of being able to coach. Because without paying clients, we can't support ourselves as coaches, and we can't do the work we love, and that sucks. So before you get too full steam ahead on your coaching business, please step back for a moment and consider your business model. Because right now you may feel like you have to do everything, have tons of offers and be marketing your business everywhere and be on all of the social media platforms and be doing all of the things if you want to have a prayer of succeeding in this new career. Because it's what you see other successful coaches doing, right? It's what everyone's talking about in Facebook groups, no? No, I want to talk about why that's not true. And I want to make sense of all this because doing less will actually help you make more money right now. So the first lesson I want to tackle is why you see so many successful coaches with many offers. And the answer is it's simple. They didn't start out that way. Most coaches started out with just one, maybe two really successful offers, and then they built their businesses from there. And so I want to tell you a story of a little company called Coca-Cola. You may have heard of them. And the question I have for you is this. Do you know how many flavors Coke had in the beginning? One flavor, right? Clearly. Coke was created in 1886 by John S. Pemberton, who then sold the formula and the company took off. So my next question is, when did Coke introduce their next offer, their next flavor, their next big change? Do you know? The first new flavor offering from the Coca-Cola company actually came in the 1950s. And it was Fanta, of all things. So if we do the math, it took Coke almost 70 years before they introduced a major new flavor to their brand. For 70 years, their business was basically built on one thing. This is true of many industries outside of flavored beverages, and coaching is one of them. Now, most businesses and most coaches for sure do not take decades to introduce new products, but they do take time. And I want you to remember this. Because again, most successful coaches start with one or two really successful offerings. And the reason they do this is because there's only them in their business. It's just them marketing, selling, and coaching. And so what they do is they focus their time and attention on the offer that's the most profitable, that they also enjoy the most. And then they get really great at selling that offer and delivering that offer. And so therefore, they get great results and more clients, and their business starts to grow. And as it grows over time, this coach is able to add more capacity, both within themselves because they're better at this offer and delivering it, so they can do it more efficiently, and within their team because they have more resources now than they did before, so they can hire out people to help them, to allow them more space and creativity to create more offers, sell more offers, and market more offers. One thing I really want you to keep in mind is not to compare yourself when you are in year 1 of your coaching business to another coach who is in year 5 or year 10 or like me in year 12 plus, because they are going to have a bigger, more sophisticated coaching business, and they're likely going to have multiple offers and all sorts of stuff going on behind the scenes. But I can guarantee you that they did not start out this way, and they did not build their business this way. And you won't either. If you want to build your business fast, and that's why we're here to help you launch effectively, then you need to focus yourself, focus your attention, and not try to do all of the things, whether that's within your business model, within the number of offers you create in your business, and even with your marketing. So now that we've made sense of this, the next lesson I want to tackle is that of choosing your future. So starting a business is hard. I'm never going to pretend it's not. And therefore, it's really important to choose a coaching business model that supports your goals and also supports your life. So let's dig in further because there are a few different buckets of coaching business models. And I'm going to give you a super short list, but it's the most common to help you better understand. There's one-on-one coaching, which is the most common, and that's where most coaches begin. And you're very familiar with this, I'm sure. And it's also where most coaching schools encourage you to start as well. And we'll talk about this in a moment. Then there's group and do-it-yourself coaching, which is what many coaches get enamored by, as it's very scalable. And it seems to a lot of coaches to be easier. It also beckons to your freedom and your creativity. And then finally, there's what I like to call the guru model, which I don't talk about a lot because not many coaches go down this path. But this is the model where you step into a leadership position as a thought leader in the world. You often write a big ticket book. You take to the lecture and workshop circuit, and you might take a few very high-end private or company clients. And so, as I said again, this is the least common business model, and so we're not going to spend much time on it in this podcast. Now, each business model has pros and cons. And there's a lot of different ways to make money as a coach, more than what I've just outlined here. And I've done a super deep dive podcast series on the different ways that coaches make money, how to begin on each money path, what you can expect to make, what tools you might have to use, pros and cons, and even if you should do it. So if you go to season 2 of this podcast, the Coach Pony podcast, you'll find those episodes. Please go back to the archives and listen in. I've also written an in-depth book, and I've recently updated it to a second edition. It's called Money Paths. And if you search Money Paths and Christy Mims on Amazon, you can find it there. You can read, well over 100 reviews and grab that as well. I think it's $5. So these are available to you for more in-depth information. But for the purposes of this particular podcast episode, I want to give you some high-level information to jumpstart your thinking about each of these options. Because again, we're here to launch your business quickly, so we're going to be as efficient as possible. And so therefore, the 2 business models I want to focus on are one-to-one private coaching and group and do-it-yourself programs. Let's start with one-to-one. So this, of course, is where someone hires you to coach them privately, and you're basically trading time for money. Now, I do recommend you do coaching packages, and you can search the Coach Pony website for more information on why I recommend this. In this business model, there's a huge advantage because one-on-one coaching is very lucrative very quickly, and it requires very little infrastructure. So your costs and expenses of doing business are very low. To be a one-on-one business coach, you just need a phone, a computer, an internet connection, maybe a website, and not much else in terms of your business investments. Given that, any client you get will be mostly profit. So for example, if you charge $3,000 for a 10-session coaching package and you get 3 clients per month, so less than 1 client a week, you'll be making a little over 6 figures in the space of a year. And that's not very many clients over the course of a year. And so right away, you'll be making a very nice income as a newer coach, and you'll get to keep almost all of it less what you pay in taxes. You also don't need a huge marketing machine or an enormous email list or a ton of automation or interconnected deadline funnels or anything like you see in a more successful group coaching business like mine. Again, you can get by with very few tools because you only need very few clients. And you get to go really deep with these clients, which can be so beneficial to you and so rewarding as a coach. And you also get to develop and evolve your philosophy as a coach. As you work with these clients in such a deep way, it'll really teach you a lot about what you believe and evolve your coaching skills very rapidly. So lots of pros there. Some of the cons of private coaching, you've probably already guessed. You are trading time for money. So at a certain point, you've run out of time. You can't take more clients. You can always raise your rates, and you should. But also at a certain point, you've kind of reached the ceiling for how much someone's going to be willing to pay you for a coaching package. And so after a while, it becomes less lucrative. Now, can you make hundreds of thousands of dollars private coaching? Of course. So there's a lot of advantage here. But at some point, you run out of runway. And if you have bigger dreams or you like a different business modality, it may start to seem repetitive. That leads us to group coaching and do-it-yourself programs. This is where instead of trading time for money, you're trading knowledge for money. And this is a little bit of a different business model. Instead of one-to-one, it's one-to-many. So having more clients doesn't really take that much more out of you in terms of a direct correlation. It's not a big deal for you to serve 20 clients in a group coaching program versus 25 or even 30. It's still roughly the same workload because it's a group. They'll be meeting with you maybe once a week or 2 times a week, all together in one big session. And so you can start to scale your group programs if you want to go that route and go from serving 10 people to 20 people to 50 to 100 to 1,000 to like many thousands of people. And that's the siren song that attracts so many people to this particular business modality. There's a lot of scalability in group coaching. If you charge $1,000 for your 10-week group coaching program and you enroll 100 people, that's $100,000. But maybe your program is built to easily handle 500 people. So that's $500,000. And you didn't have to add too much more to the program, maybe a few extra group coaching sessions. and maybe a little bit more customer support, but it's not a lot, and the profit is really there. Now, I should mention one other really big pro for some of us, which is that there's a community. And I personally, as a coach, love the community aspect of the group business model. I just like the energy of the community, and that's really powerful for me. I also like the flexibility because I'm not tied to individual coaching hours. My schedule isn't blocked out that way. I only have a few specific commitments on my calendar as they relate to my group program. And then I have a ton of flexible time to do other things that I want to do, like create this podcast. So lots of flexibility in group as well. There are a lot of cons though. Group coaching programs require more infrastructure, especially if you want to do a larger scale group program. You need to, of course, have a sales or enrollment page. You need to have some community tool for people to connect with each other and with you, whether that's a free Facebook group or using a program like Discourse or something else. A paid portal often to hold group coaching materials, training materials, worksheets, things like that people can reference. Community management. If you get the group as it grows, you will need someone to help you manage the community to keep the guidelines and enforce the rules. You'll also need more customer service support because the more people you serve, the more questions they have and the more time you'll be dealing with their questions. So you might need a customer service ticketing system like Zendesk, in addition to the sales page, in addition to the learning center, in addition to the customer admin, et cetera, et cetera. So the infrastructure of group programs is a lot more complex, and over time, the cost can really add up. Another con of group programs are that they are groups by their very nature. And so when we're talking about live group programs and not do-it-yourself programs, you really need to give people an actual group. That's what they're signing up for. So what if you open enrollment to your program, you promise people a great group experience, and only 1 or 2 people actually enroll by the deadline? What do you do then? That is not only financially hard, but it's mentally taxing, and it can create feelings of shame or embarrassment that no one wanted what you had on offer. And it can be really unmotivating and hurt your long-term future of your business. Also, what if you don't sell enough? What if you create a do-it-yourself program? You've invested money in the training and in the infrastructure, and people buy and then refund, or they just not enough people buy. You're selling a $200 program and you need to sell 500 or 600 of them a year in order to really have a decent life. These are a lot of things to think about. Group programs require a lot of marketing effort because you need to reach a lot more people if you want to scale them. They require more sales effort. You need automated sales funnels or launch style sales funnels or some sort of sales funnel to really pull people in and educate them about the program and give them an incentive to join. So there's a lot of things you need to learn and be good at that are less important when you are doing one-on-one coaching and you can talk to everyone individually. Lots to think about here, but what's important is that you choose a business model that you're excited about, that's going to support you, and you understand what you're getting into as you do it. My best advice to you is to think about what fits best in your life right now, because business models are not static and you can always change and adjust. I started out as a private one-on-one coach because I knew that was the most lucrative path forward for me to support myself in the beginning, though I quickly started to set up systems to transition over to being a group coach as soon as I was able. But it did take time, and it's really good to understand what's involved before you start investing that time in that activity. So just to recap very, very quickly, your business model is important. And there's a lot of different ways to make money as a coach. But the easiest way is to be simple and focused in your business model, not try to do too much, and either choose one-on-one coaching or group programs and do-it-yourself coaching. Understand the pros and cons of each and what you're getting into before you spend a ton of time going down the wrong path. And if you want more information on any of this, or to go deeper on any different way to make money, including writing a book and hosting retreats, then check out season 2 of the podcast or grab my book, Money Paths, on Amazon. Either one of these or both will really help you figure a lot of this out. Ultimately, I want you to be a super successful coach. I stared at my computer and hit delete. I'd taken some of my extra offers off my website, and I decided I was only going to focus on the business model that I wanted, and that was going to be group coaching. It felt oddly freeing to be so crystal clear on my future, like a weight was lifted when I stopped trying to do all of the things. And the best news, my business doubled in size in a year. and then it kept growing. And I was focused on the work I most wanted to do, instead of trying to keep up with everyone else and just imitating what I saw. I was doing what I loved. Over the years, I've made millions of dollars as a coach, but none of it would have come about if I hadn't taken a hard look at my business model and started to be super strategic about where I wanted to go in the future. And I'll be honest, though I had to plan my own strategy as a coach, I did rely on pep talks from everyone in my network to help me implement it and to keep me believing that I could do it. So just know that you're not alone. I want to wrap this episode up with a pit crew pep talk, because no coach ever succeeds alone, just like no driver in Formula One ever competes alone. The team and the pit crew is here to do important support work, from standard support like changing the tires to more complex support when things go wrong, like you choose the wrong business model and you need to talk through your options. So I'm going to turn it over to one of my favorite people in my pit crew, Bobbi Palmer from DateLikeAGrownup.com. If you know of a woman over 40 who needs dating help, then send her to DateLikeAGrownup.com. Bobbi is amazing. And over the years, I've asked her to give me many a pep talk, especially when I'm considering a big change. So Bobbi, can you give a pep talk to everyone listening?
So we see so many coaches making millions and millions of dollars, doing these amazing programs. And you look and you say, I want to do that. That's the way to do it. Maybe it's group coaching for 10,000 people, or live events, or whatever you see them do and you think you need to do that. And what I finally learned trying to emulate them is I needed to step back and figure out, number one, this is crazy. What do I like doing? What do I enjoy doing? Because that's probably what I'm best at. And that's probably what's going to make me a happier human being, which will make me a better coach. So if you're struggling with what model, what structure, what modality, what exactly you're going to deliver, just do some testing. Go out there, put some things out there, but always start with what you like to do, what fills you up, what you feel confident doing, because that's probably what you're going to do best. And for me, what I finally learned after trying to do so many, I was trying to do what other coaches were doing, and it wasn't what I liked. I hated so many of the moving parts of it. It didn't work for me. So private coaching is what I love to do. I do it really well. I make a good living at it. I get to control when I work, how I work, and it makes me happy. So give yourself time, take some tests, make some failures. You're going to fail. You're going to find things either you don't like or you don't do well, and just try the next thing. And what Christy has always taught me, do really solid debriefs. Make sure you learn from all your experiences, even when they're crappy. That's going to help you move forward. Keep moving forward. We all had to do that, and we all finally learned what worked best for us.
And if you want us on your pit crew, come on over to CoachPony.com. We've got tons of free resources for you to help you in your business, including an amazing free 14-minute class all about how to find paying clients at CoachPony.com/marketing.
Okay, we've started the engines. Let's check in with Pit Wall. Toto, what's happening next?
Next up, we are talking about how to find the niche you love. And it's an important one. You can't launch your business if you don't know who you are helping.
And with that, I'll see you next time.